Match 2 of Day 2 in the IDRC 2025, and a tough act to follow. If France-Australia was anything to go by in terms of tone setting for the day and the tournament, we're in for a real treat in the latter match this afternoon. Well, the flair of the Fijians meets the liveliness of the Looseheads as these two sides square up for their first matches in Pool B. The Looseheads are expected to have somewhat of a barbarian style to their play, and we're promised they will embody the spirit of flair, camaraderie and diversity. And I'm delighted to be joined again today on co-commentary duties by John Wilding, a man who's no stranger to the UCAF side, the RAF and Wasps as well. Plenty of coaching pedigree in there, John. Somewhat of an unknown quantity with both these sides this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. The Looseheads, some good players, good clubs and players there. Old Albanians, Henley, and a couple of players I used to coach at Saracens. So they'll have some good pedigree in the decision-making positions. And Fiji, the last IDRC, the first one we went to, they were the surprise package, and they were probably the team of the tournament that didn't quite get to win it. But they came, they beat Australia, they beat UCAF, and they beat us well by playing a fast brand of rugby with a lot of physicality.
Well, some are terming it the pool of death, so to speak. Pool B with these teams, as we saw France and Australia earlier on. Yeah. And of course, these two sides who are about to go head to head. I mean, good luck to anyone making it through that.
Absolutely, and this is where the 3-day turnaround, 3 to 4 day turnaround after a game we just watched with Australia and France. That's where the professionalism of getting recovery in to play the next game is going to make all the difference. And I think when it comes to game time, the players will pull out all the stops, but there'll be some sore bodies the next couple of days.
Absolutely, and just looking at the warm-ups before the match as well, both sides at opposite ends of the pitch, and we of course heard there that the Vodafone LooseHeadz are wanting to play with plenty of flair, but they'll have to come up against the real physicality of the Fijians. Just looking at the pack and the sizes of some of those forwards. Yeah,
there's some big people there who can play. The thing that the Fijians grow up playing rugby and playing with the ball in their hand, and it's a cliche, but they do, and they're very good rugby players. Give them time and space, and the key to playing any side like that is to take the time and space away. But you've got to be a really good side to do that.
Well, you mentioned New Zealand, of course, 3 years ago, the previous edition of the IDRC, and I guess hampered slightly, of course, back in those times with COVID concerns and all the rest. But today's match that we saw first up, France against Australia, and what we're expecting from this, what an absolute treat and a real advert for this tournament.
Oh, look, yeah, that first game today was an outstanding advert for rugby generally, let alone this tournament. Two teams that have come from either end of the world to play in Maidenhead, and they came to play their own styles. And I think the result was fair in the end. But if I was an Australian coach, I'd be a little upset because they had so much of the ball and territory, but just couldn't punch in the score. Whereas France, they're the champions for a reason, and they've still got that mindset, and they've still got the players to do it. So. Look, I think it sets up lovely for the rest of the tournament, because Australia have got to come out now and play to get through to the next rounds, and France have got to now play Fiji at some point afterwards, and it sets up massively.
Well, interesting, of course, as a man yourself who led UCAF to that IDRC in New Zealand a few years ago. Interesting, of course, to see the UCAF players here today in attendance in the stand watching France-Australia. They said they'd be coming here to watch this match. As the players come out onto the field, they know that they're likely going to come up against one of these teams if they make the knockout stages. And after a 105-0 victory over Tonga yesterday, well, they'll be watching on with much anticipation.
100%. And Fiji earned our respect out in the last IDRC. They were a really good side. And I think that whether we play Australia, who again beat us last time, or France, who are the champions, you know that if you do your job in the pool and you come against these teams, you've got to lift at another level.
Well, we see the teams lining up now ahead of the Fijian national anthem, and the Vodafone LooseHeadz in red and black, and the Fijians in that famous green and red as well. Just here at Maidenhead Rugby Club, the weather has held, which has been great. A little bit of a breeze around as well, and expecting a very quick game as well on this 4G surface. And, we just await the national anthem. Well, the Fijians, as they always are, as we've become accustomed to over the years, in fantastic voice, the national anthem there. And as we look at the sides today, the Looseheads led by the dynamic dual code star Eloise Hayward at 10, who starred for Leicester Tigers and Saracens in Union and Leeds Rhinos in League, as well as being part of the European Championships winning side for the GB7s. Grace Clavering is her halfback partner today, and a front row of Graham, Shibanja and Dudson entrusted with facing up to that power in the Fijian scrum. Batina Kila, Morama and Wakolo, the front row for Fiji today, and Kavuru and Riwai, the halfback pairing. As the sides limber up and get ready for kickoff. And Sebastian Royer of France is today's referee, joined by assistants Kevin Lewis and Mike Gray of UCAF. Mamala Kuglua of Tonga and Australian Mitchell Egan complete the team of officials in that resplendent pink.
It's a great kit, isn't it, for referees? I think it's one of the best kits I've seen, to be fair.
You're thinking you missed out there, John?
Well, I look good in pink. People know me know that well.
Dangerous thing to say when we're awaiting our next commentary stint together.
That's not a problem.
As Looseheads and Hayward get ready to get things underway. And a deep kickoff into the backfield. And Namata, the right winger, and a little bit of a high challenge there. And the left winger, Millie Wickstead of Looseheads, and duly noted by the referee, who awards the penalty, taken quickly by Fiji.
Yeah, that's the Fijian game right there. Keep the ball moving. Keep the ball moving. Keep play quick.
Yeah, dynamism, and Wakolo taking it on the tight head prop. And trying to get that quick ball, Kavuru, and moving it out through the hands and the backs, and just passed over the top. And that's a lovely bit of work there on the left-hand side. The ball chipped through, and herring back is Ellie Brown for the Looseheads, and chased brilliantly there by Fiji, not really having any chance at all, and it's cleared, but only as far as Fiji once again, and they have, and looking for numbers out on the right hand side, trying to get that pushed out wide and through the hands again. What can they conjure up here in the opening stages of this match? Fiji, and that's a fantastic start. Eleanor Naimata with the first score of today, and it's been a matter of seconds, John Wilding, but what a fantastic start.
Yeah, the game of rugby is a really simple game. If you take the ball forward and win your collisions, and you play quick ball off that. The thing that made that really was the kick and the kick chase, the speed of the kick chase and the pressure they put under the posts, and the Looseheads had no exit from there, and from there the numbers were always on side. I think the Looseheads now know what the Fijian game plan is. They're not going to deviate from that. Now you've got to stop it.
Yeah, Kavuru here with the kicking duties as well, scrum half. And plenty to ponder for the Looseheads in the opening stages of this encounter.
Yeah, just as the Fijian kick was the source of the try there, the kickoff didn't really get chased hard by the Looseheads, so they need to just do that for the next kickoff. That's a great kick.
Conversions made by Kavuru. 7-0 lead Fiji.
Yeah, just now they just got to concentrate now. Wherever the ball goes, let's get a good chase there, pressurise the catcher, and then establish a foothold in the Fijian half.
Some of that Premiership quality, as you mentioned, some of the players in the Looseheads today will be dependent upon, of course. And the Fijians getting a wonderful start here in Maidenhead. Just over 2 minutes played. And 7 points to 0. And an opportunity for them really to hit that line hard, Fiji. And once again, Naimata, the try scorer, just over the halfway line here. And Kavuru gets that out once more. As the hooker, Marama, who takes it up the middle. Really hitting that gain line very hard, the Fijians. And bouncing off a couple of defenders there, Siata. That ball did go forward. And a chance for the Looseheads just to take a breath.
Yeah, the Fiji, again, a straight hard run in. You've got to put your tackles in. You actually got to close the gap first rather than let it run at you. And I think that's what the Looseheads are finding out here. The Fijians will give you a chance because they're not the greatest with ball security, so they'll give you a chance to get the ball, but you've got to be in a position to make a dominant tackle before you can do that, which is what's shown here. Sadly, I think that's the hooker struggling.
Looks at Marama here, who's receiving some medical attention.
Just being told that probably has to go off.
Referee blowing his whistle. Well, very enterprising from the Fijians. Nothing short of what we expected from them today. And on this fast surface as well, a dry day, it's going to be fascinating to see what they conjure up next.
Nope, that's why I'm not a doctor. She's back on. That's a tough player. But that carry she made there, it not only made yards, it sucked in so many defenders. And again, the little impressive 9 is getting the ball away so quickly, and it's just so hard for the loosehead defence who are going backwards then to cover the next runner. But we have to work that out.
Well, Grace Clavering with the put into the scrum here.
That's a good scrum from looseheads.
Some possession here. They were taking that up. And well, that's a thunderous hit there. It's come in, but a bit of pace on the outside here. But tell you what, it's returned in favour by the Fijians, and a wonderful run here. Rayoma, the fullback, can she go all the way? It looks like she's got there, and another try for Fiji. Well, it's relentless right now from them.
So it's not just pace, power and direct physicality, it's also pace. There's some really good interplay here, but loosehead should be encouraged, because that was a break with just a little bit of ball security, and they'd made a break themselves. They've got some pace in their team, but you turn over loose ball against Fiji and you're going to struggle.
Fijians just laying down that marker with how clinical they've been so far in the little we've seen of this match. But already leading by 12 points to 0.
It's a time for looseheads to just dig deep now. What's happening. The game pattern is already set. They have to now show how to break that, and a lot of that's going to come from just get up and get, as hard as it is, get in the faces of the big runners and start challenging them for speed and time.
Kavuru again.
It's a lovely strike.
With the opportunity, but no, the score remains 12-0 to the Fijians here in Maidenhead. And tricky angle, of course, for a left-footed kicker, but what a start it's been.
Yeah, I'd probably look here. Let's put the ball as high as you can on probably just a 10-12 metre and get the looseheads running at the catcher. Let's start putting some pressure back on the Fijians and see what happens there.
I'll restart again. Something we've become familiar with in the last few minutes.
It's probably a little bit too deep, but let's get pressure on. Good. And there you go.
Penalty there.
And there you go.
Looseheads.
Yeah, if you put pressure on them, the mistakes, they will make mistakes and they will give you opportunities, but you have to consistently do that in the face of their power.
And important to just have that ball retention as well, John, and go through the phases.
It's all about ball retention, and if you can go through the phases whilst going forwards, and you're dominant in the game. It's easier said than done, and it's a hard thing to do when you've been knocked backwards a couple of times. But like everything else, you do it to them, they don't like it as much as you do. Well,
a chance, a foray into the opposition 22 for the Looseheads, and let's see what they want to put into this one. Shibanjo with the throw.
That's great defence.
And very good from the Fijians, taking that ball. And Kavuru once more. She's been busy so far today.
And again, we see the value of a good kick.
Makeda Lewis.
And a good kick chase.
Waiting for that bounce, and does relatively well.
But
just to try
pace.
And step out of the initial danger. And taken down eventually around the halfway mark. And a penalty there taken quickly, but the ref calls them back.
Yeah, Makeda Lewis is known throughout the game with exceptional pace, and if you give her space, no matter who you play, and she will finish tries. We the RF team played the British Police, and she put us to the sword a couple of times last year. I like that.
Well, something a little unconventional there for Looseheads off the penalty, but making gains here. And Hayward moving it out through the hands of her backs and trying to find a bit of space on the left-hand side, and just spill through the hands of Matilda Cottrell, and it goes into touch.
That's unlucky, that. I think but after the Fijians start, when you know that the defences are coming hunting for you, sometimes you can have one eye on the defender coming at you and one eye on the ball, and that's when knock-ons happen.
So another opportunity comes knocking for Fiji. The They've had plenty of the possession so far in this match. Kavuru's been pivotal in that half-back position at scrum half. It's a free kick for Looseheads.
Yeah, early engagement there, not holding your weight. Again, good setup by the Looseheads, so that's not going to be a given for Fiji there.
Favouring this quick tap penalty, as they did a few moments ago, and that's a massive hit there on Shabanjo. Looseheads hooker. Trying to get quick ball. Hayward through the hands once more. And Cottrell there. And Fiji doing very well to try and counter-ruck and mess things up at the breakdown, and they've earned themselves the penalty.
Hands in the ruck there. They've just got to, when you take ball into contact, you've got to put numbers in to secure it against the Fijians, because their hits are so strong. If you don't do that, then they can come over the top like they did there.
They've got a bit of time in the ball when they've had the possession so far, the Fijians. Sulikoviti with the kick, just teasing the defence and teasing. They're chasing players as well, the Fijians.
Again, it's noticeable the Fijian kick chase is still putting pressure on the people receiving it, and if the ball lands rather than goes to hand, then their numbers there on feet attacking the ball are greater than the opposition. We saw UCAF do that yesterday to great effect, and Fiji are not wasting any energy getting down the pitch by using the kick and the kick chase.
Let us know where you're watching today, of course, whether you're close by or further afield, whether you be in Fiji or around the world. Do let us know. Our BFBS Forces News YouTube channel. David Tsunaki says, let's go Fiji. Plenty of support for all the teams in the tournament, as we've seen so far in these first couple of match days. And that ball goes loose once more, and the danger of Fiji just lurking there, but Looseheads have managed to gather that.
Yeah. So the line speed for the Fijians there was amazing, and it's really hurting the Looseheads who want more time.
They're getting a lot of ball going backwards.
Yeah, I think there's another high tackle though.
The referee doing well, just to Sebastien Royer, just to make sure everyone's singing off the same hymn sheet and maintains their discipline.
Yeah.
Penalty
so
again.
A full penalty. I think they'll kick this rather than tap it. Although I have been wrong on occasions.
Back in their own 22 and deep within it as well, John.
I would certainly promote as a forward as well. Let's kick the ball off and have a line out, please. But yeah, it's when you start the game well with a couple of big carries and a couple of big hits, it can really shock an opposition, and you can see the back line when they got that good ball there. They're half looking for the Fijian defender rather than let's create the space and draw a defender. I think they'll get better at that, and they'll work out where their depth is and their timing. But Fiji are really feeding the line speed and feeding off the pressure that's given them.
I think no one is under any illusions as to the brilliance and the power of the Fijians. I think there were some who perhaps underestimated them at the IDRC in New Zealand 3 years ago, much to their peril.
I think there was every other team underestimated them at the beginning of the tournament. It certainly didn't at the semi-final stage. And it took a very good French team to beat them in what was probably arguably the game of the tournament. But they're a good team.
Another quick tap by the Looseheads, and well, good afternoon there from Siki Sawana. Trying just to get ball going forward as best they can, and a jackling attempt, but it's a penalty for the Looseheads.
Yeah, so you can't go for the ball without supporting your own body weight, and she was leaning on the ball, not the floor. So it's just the thing that will Fiji's will do is give penalties away like that. They're so keen and eager for the ball.
Well, that ball hasn't gone out. It's only gone as far as Riwai.
So look at the kick chase. That kick chase, and Fiji 1 pass, 2 passes, and look where they are, and on the attack.
Rauma's pace and agility at 15. Shown once more there. Chance to come again. And through the forwards this time, and the beautiful run there from the tight head prop. That's absolutely fantastic stuff. And look at the footwork just to get to the line. Another try Marianne Wakolo, that's absolute brilliance from the forward.
And that's the thing, you show them 2 passes, full width of the pitch, go around the outside, and you bring it up back with a short, hard, powerful runner like that. That's great rugby. When you watch this, it looks simple, doesn't it? It looks simple, but don't underestimate the skill of that. And a lot of that comes from the exit kick that didn't make touch, but not only didn't it make touch, that because they thought it would, there was no chase, and the chase is the thing that kills it.
Well, from that range as well, and the pace she managed to generate, Wakolo, that's would have taken some stopping.
So like someone took the 1 off the shirt there, and instead of 3, it should have been 13. It's a great line.
Yeah, brilliant angles. The forwards and backs coming onto the ball for the Fijians.
Yeah, that's an outstanding try. That's a great kick.
Just under a quarter of an hour gone here in Maidenhead, and it's 17 points to 0. Fiji lead the Vodafone LooseHeadz. And a good crowd here as well. A great atmosphere.
There's a lot. It's a lot of interesting tournament players watching this game. You can see from the stand there. There's the Australians and the French, obviously, but there's some UCAF players and there's some other players, or the Irish players are around as well. There's a lot of people watching this who are taking notes. Trust me.
I'm very wary of what all these teams can offer. Not least the leaders in this match so far. They rumble on again, the Fijians. The try scorer taking some stopping. Wakolo. Coming onto the line at pace. And lovely offloading there as well. And numbers were opening up there on the outside, but ball just spilled forward, much to the relief of the LooseHeadz. Trying to get quick ball now. Hands of Karis Graham.
I think there might be a card here.
Yeah, we mentioned the discipline here. The referee just wanting a word. Bettina Kile, LooseHead prop. And the ref reaches for his pocket, and it is indeed sin binning, a yellow card for the prop.
This also happened out in New Zealand with a couple of cards for the contact to high. You're actually so dominant, there's no need for that to happen, but it is, in the excitement of the game, I can understand.
Yeah, Eleanor Adoni, a player sent to the bin. Referee not missing a beat when it comes to these tackles.
So it'll be interesting what to do. You've lost the second row from the scrum here, and the scrums were actually where LooseHeadz were showing some parity. So let's see what happens here.
Yeah, that extra power has been evident from the off with Fiji's pack, but LooseHeadz looking for some respite and an opportunity to attack. Been very keen for those quick taps, moving the ball through the hands. Hayward, playmaker at 10. Just sussing out her options here.
Yeah, well, it's Eloise game as well. She likes to play fast rugby and tap and go. That's her nature. So, but I think there's times and places for this, because if you don't want to get isolated against the Fijians here. The scrums are certainly a work on for Fiji.
And the ball goes in, Clavering.
Yeah.
And it goes to Hayward, but that's dropped. She tries to move it across. And just across the face of that are some chasing Fijians as well.
Yeah, again,
once more.
The LooseHeadz are staying in this game only because Fiji are disciplined. There's no need to push the person there. That you could let them get up and then tackle them. You're going to be a dominant tackle. So it's just that discipline that just lets them down.
Well, the quick tap deployed once more.
Good carry.
It's a very nice carry there. And the LooseHeadz doing their best to protect that. Flying up in defence are Fiji. Trying to recycle that ball. Karis Graham taking into contact. And Hayward with no real room to work with at all. Trying to move it out wide and find a bit of space. And it's Cottrell this time.
Good run.
Dancing around the defenders.
See, that's the sort of carry that can lift a team. You're now going to get behind her and support her.
Brilliant work from Fiji.
Yeah.
And they've taken that quickly, but the ref calls them back. Good jackling there.
That's the other thing. What just happened there? If the other referees might let that go, that quick play, they're strong off that, and you've got to be so aware of that to be back 5 and be able to make a tackle. But yeah, that run from the number 7 for LooseHeadz, that can inspire you. You just need more people to be with her, and from that little thing you can start. That's the way to go forward. And once you go forward, you can start playing against the Fijians.
Showing her pace, Matilda Cottrell at open side, and the Fijians opting for a kick at goal.
I was watching them in the warm-up, and she was slotting them from this distance. So, it's another threat. Again, if you get penalties away, there's another threat they pose.
Eva Mary Rokawati, the inside centre. She'll have spent plenty of time as well, John, in the warm-ups, just judging the wind and seeing what the breeze has been doing as well today.
Yeah, it's a lovely pitch at Maidenhead, but there is not a great deal of shelter, and what the shelter there is trees. So the minute you get above tree height, the wind is actually quite strong and can make a difference. So, depending where you are and what side of the pitch, whether you're in the shelter of the stand or not, it does make a difference. But I watched her. She was a good 10 minutes, and she was slotting them from this range, all in the arc, all the way around from any position. So let's see.
Rokawati with the attempt, and just about makes it over.
Go. As I said, with legs to spare. So again, they pose a threat from everywhere. That they can run in from anywhere, they can run through you. But they've also got a kicking threat, just as we saw with UCAF at Daisy yesterday. They're not a simple team to play against.
Just making it over the extra 3 points, and 20 points to 0 Fiji lead the LooseHeadz. As we just have a look at which ball they prefer to take the restart with. I think the decision has been made. Tabor it is once more, kicking towards the 22. Fiji, Viniana Riwai, and the ball goes up in the air off that left boot. And hit hard once more, as each of these LooseHeadz have been in this match. And looking for the footwork on the outside. And Rokawati down on the right-hand side towards the touchline. Rokawati showing real strength to get past the defence there. And in she goes. Fantastic score. Now she just made the penalty and now a try. Brilliant stuff from Rokawati.
And that's often underused tactic in rugby these days, is the up and under. And although whether that was planned or not, what it did was put pressure on the catchers, and then the hands from the forwards to draw, give, and put away in space. The scoring pass just in front of us here was outstanding. And for your inside centre to have the pace like that, you're a fast team. That's a great try.
It's been great to see so many tries in the tournament so far already, hasn't it? Of course, yesterday, UCAF winning by 105 points to 0 over Tonga, and the Irish playing rugby against cancer, winning 32-7 in that one. And this morning, of course, 22-17 for France over Australia. So great to see plenty of nice open and running rugby in this tournament so far.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're all coming different ways. So the way the Fijian are scoring is different to the way UCAF were scoring. Certainly, the try early, the games early today was some great attritional rugby where some of the power running was there, but it was a team tries rather than some individual play.
Well, just missed the conversion there. Attempt, and Fiji cleverly swapping kickers for both sides. Kavuru with her left boot, just not quite getting that over, but nevertheless 25 points to 0 they lead. They'll be delighted with that start. 22 minutes gone here in Maidenhead.
So for the LooseHeadz, there's some really good players who played a good level here, but this is quite an intense opposition you're playing against. You've got to go back to basics here, and you've got to have a plan. Like everyone, I'm going to kick it in this area. Let's get a real chase on and put pressure on the tackler and see where we are, and make the game simple for yourselves, because you're good enough to play against this lot and put some pressure on them. And when you put pressure on them, things can happen. But it all starts from the first thing, and this is what I'd be saying. I probably wouldn't have kicked it long because it gives them time. But you've got to make a chase now and work hard on the tackle.
Riwai looking to find a bit of space there. Yeah, that deep kick just giving them plenty of space to work up ahead of steam. And just knocked forward there, really. So
yeah, but that's good. That's good. Good pressure again. So and the long kick, what it does give you is territory, and you've pressurised the kick at this. And now you've got a scrum in just outside the 22 or on the 22. okay, now scrum is where they've had some success. So now what you're going to do off it and do something simple to give you go forward and then build on phase on phase on phase. Because if you try and break this down as a whole package, it's quite intimidating, whereas let's just get go forward here and get numbers to it. As I say, if you've played in the Premiership or played around the Championship, you've played players who are as good as the Fijians, so you can do it. Take some confidence from that. To be fair, from the Fijians though, that's a 7-man scrum.
Zara Martin taking that ball at first receiver, and the ball going out wide beautifully to Ellie Brown at 15, and Ellie Brown finding a little bit of space just on the inside.
That's Eloise showing her scrum half pedigree to that pass.
Very, very nice pass indeed. Harris Graham as they move back into the 22. That's good from Sam Page.
Yeah, again, simple go forward. Let's get go forward.
And through the phases, Shabanjo making more ground for the Looseheads. Moving that back, and Hayward once again with a rather long pass, and Cottrell this time taking it. And,
she's definitely the sort of live wire for the team.
Trying to get quick ball here once again, and Hayward moving it out wide, and a little bit of space there on the outside from Millie Wickstead. But defensive
it's a penalty.
fantastic.
It's a penalty. You got
Ferocious
advantage.
hits coming in.
Good advantage from here, so let's use it. Try your move now.
Bit of a free play here. McCormick getting ever closer now. Looseheads. Forwards doing their best just to protect the ball at the breakdown. Looking to pick and go here, Looseheads, which they try through McCormick. To get through that green and red wall. Here ball comes again. And it's Georgia Gray. And looking for a bit of space, and the kind bounce the ball for them, but
back for the penalty.
Into Fijian hands, and back for the penalty we go.
Yeah, like that, look, it's a really good pressure from Looseheads. However, everything they did was really high and really slow. And it gave a target for the Fijians to hit. You've got to be lower, and you've got to go with a couple of mates. You can't go 1s and 2s. You've got to be 3s and 4s if you're going to pick and go against and make the power. But you've got to be hitting lower than that. If you stand up in the tackle, the power that the Fijians have will work against you. Probably one of the marked differences between the two sides is the speed of ball from the 9s. If you compare the speed of the ball from the breakdown from the Fijian 9 to the Looseheads 9, it just gives so much more time for the Fijians running onto the ball than it does for the Looseheads. But for credit, they're in the 5 meters out. They've got a line out, and let's see what they can do.
Opportunity to hit back here and get on the scoreboard. Looseheads. Yeah, we saw that yesterday with UCAF's game, and Lucy Nye, as we've seen her so many times, just wrap it around the breakdown and giving that very quick service to Daisy Fahey.
Yeah,
and Tongan's under pressure yesterday.
Your winging outside backs will score great tries if your 9 is really quick and get off the floor, and that's when the 9 is unsung.
The Looseheads gather that and try and get the rolling maul operational. Shabanjo there adding all her weight to that. And McCormick meets contact.
I think they're unlucky not to get a penalty there. I think the Fijians brought that down, but the referee saw otherwise. They got a scrum though again. I think that's them back to 10, back to full 15.
Eleanor Dauni back on for the Fijians at lock. The number 5, Sinbind, but has done her time.
Yeah, I'd be if I was the number 8 here, I'd have a go. Pick the ball up and let's try and run at the 10 and see what happens.
Attacking position so close to that whitewash now for the Looseheads. And here goes McCormick.
Yeah.
And Fiji doing their absolute best here to try and wrestle that back, but quick tap penalty. And Karis Graham,
another card, I think,
moving it through. Fijian discipline just a little bit in question here. So close to the line. And how close can they get here, the Looseheads? Trying to barge that through. Sam Page. Clavering again. And McCormick so close to that post. Still being pushed back and trying to move it out now wide. Hayward
space out wide.
Through the hands. Martin and Gray Oh, and absolutely slammed there on the far side. Hayward looking up for options, and McCormick. The ball just drops. It seems to be okay.
Good pick up though.
It has gone back, and they've regathered it. Shabanjo pushing it out, Clavering, and kicking it across. Crossfield kick here. Can they gather it? And fantastic stuff. That's absolutely beautiful from Makeda Lewis. What a score, and great sight from Eloise Hayward to put that across the pitch. That's a beauty there, John.
That's absolutely brilliant, and you know, credit to them, because you know, they've fought their way up the pitch. They've held in the 22 under unsustained pressure. You know, they've worked the ball across the 5 metre line. The initial backs move, there was a great cover tackle on the 13, but they haven't panicked, and that's what the game's about now. Again, they've shown what they need to do. I said Makeda is such a great player, and will score tries wherever she plays. But that was a great take, and they did a lot to do. But that's the template. Get up the pitch. You know, it starts with a kick. Get up the pitch, and then pressure. So good on them.
Lovely warm applause there for that one.
Yeah.
But, Lewis doing well to take the ball and then move back outside, spinning past some of those defenders. Lovely finish.
Yeah, she's well known throughout the leagues for that finish, and as I say, it's not easy when she took that ball, especially when you know that the hits are coming. But her feet, her fast feet, and the power to get over the top were amazing. Good play by Eloise though. Good spot, and that's a great kick to put it there.
Martin with the conversion attempt, which is a good one.
Yeah, some good kicking on display, I tell you.
They're on the board now. Looseheads 25 points to 7. They trail.
So
half an hour gone in this match.
So the key now is the winning Premiership head coach for Gloucester Hartpury used to say that you cash the check once you've scored by getting back in the opponent's half, and don't switch off now and think the work is done. You've got to get the ball, get back in their half, and then the score's complete. Which I thought was a great saying, but I tried to explain it to some of the younger people, and they were like, "What's a check?" So yeah, but it's still it's really important now. Don't relax because you've scored. Get the ball back, turn the pressure, turn the Fijians around.
Ball going high into the Berkshire sky.
That's the sort of kick I was asking the Looseheads to do. Nice and high, give you something to chase. Put the catcher under pressure.
Well, also a chance, of course, for Looseheads just to have seen where they can exploit in terms of the gaps and also perhaps some of the defensive weaknesses of the Fijians. And as you say, important passage coming up.
Yeah, you've got to move the Fijians around, especially their forwards. You've got to move them around. If you just run straight at them, that's what they want you to do, and they're very good at defending that. So keep moving them around, and then you might get some success. That's a lovely pass. Yeah.
Oh, and lovely once again. That's Naimata. And using those feet to great effect, Naimata getting ever close to that try line. And they've got numbers here on the far side, have Fijians.
That's a
the referee calling them out for the penalty.
Don't know what he's seen here. Oh, right. So I think it might be the carrying in the elbow, carrying with the leading elbow. I think, yeah. But there's the threat, individual threat of the Fijian back line, from nothing, from a turnover line out, run around the side, picked a hole through it, and just last-ditch tackle. And had that not been a leading tackle, the ball was gone and we were scoring in the corner. So, you can't switch off. You've got to be completely on it.
An opportunity squandered for the Fijians, but chance now for Looseheads to get back up the pitch.
Yeah, and so the line out is where the Looseheads need to really focus on. They've lost the last couple or had it stolen or sort of trouble getting it. So do change it up. Try and do something that gets you some ball. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Just get ball, hold on to it, and then let's play rather than do the same thing again.
Shabanjo with
and there you go.
Change
it up. So it didn't quite work. Fair play. They tried something. It didn't quite work, and that's probably because they haven't trained together as much as everyone else. But they tried something different, so that they're thinking about it and they're working it out, which is always good to see. Next time we'll get the execution right.
These front rows have seen plenty of each other in the half hour played so far, especially in open play. But another scrum called by Sebastien Royer. And Namata on the right wing, just lining out and prowling the flank.
This is a great attacking move with a scrum on the left-hand side, which means the scrum half is kind of out the game, defending scrum half. It also means usually that the blindside winger has to cover the whole back line, Fijian back line, as the right-hand side of the pitch, which gives you an overlap. So this is where, if they get good ball, I'd expect to see some of their dazzling back moves.
Kavuru with the put in. Looking up to get that ball out. Riwai taking it. And that's a lovely feint from Riwai. Look at that. Fantastic stuff. Not least with the footwork, and Kavuru here. Can she finish the job? She can. Another try for the Fijians. And a great response after that LooseHeadz score.
That's an outstanding score. And that's a rugby player who plays what the picture that they see. There was a move on there to go wide, and the run, the angle she took, showed the ball to the outside, and the whole LooseHeadz team took it, and she went through the gap, and arguably has helped her little mate to a try there when she probably could have scored that easily. But again, the value in your 9, because that came from quick ball from her.
Very alert halfback pairing today. Just getting over her teammate's body there as well to score that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's more surprised, the defence or the 9 that she got the ball there. But yeah, that's a great. That shows there's a lot of team spirit there and valuing of each other. I'm not sure Daisy Fahey would have given that to Lucy Nye if it was the roles were reversed. Let's put it that way.
Easy to say when she's not right here at this moment. That goes over the post.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the 2 points had her. 32 points to 7. Fiji lead the LooseHeadz. And really piling this pressure on are the Fijians ahead of half-time. Just under 5 minutes to play in this Pool B match. Second of the Pool B matches played so far in the tournament.
Absolutely, they're giving a lot of things to think about to the opposition, the potential next opposition.
Ball just going 10, and Fiji once again with that lightning pace. And,
I think a free ball as well.
Advantage as well being called by Royer.
Yeah.
Immediate pressure from the kickoff once again being exerted by those green and red shirts.
Yeah, I like the way the LooseHeadz are trying things. Some execution errors, some whatever. They're trying different things to try and give them a foot on the game, and I like that, because you got to find something that gives you. You can't just do the same old thing and do the same old results. So, I think they won't try that short one on the 10 again, because that gives the Fijians some impetus to run on the ball. But they've tried something, and again, it's keeping the Fijians on their toes and making them ask questions.
Tia Marama, Fijian hooker with the ball.
Short line out here with some heavy runners in the midfield.
It's gone a little longer, and back's now in business. A bit of a show there, but outside centre, Siki Sawana moving through. And cutting through that defence like a knife through butter there. And they go again. Quick ball. And Kavuru just assessing her options and choosing to go back towards the centre of the pitch, and spilled forward there.
Yeah, I think the scrum half for the Fijian team would be an excellent sevens player. She's seeing the game amazingly well. But fair play to the LooseHeadz, because they're coming back at this and they're putting them under pressure.
Ball going deep towards the Fijian fullback.
And look at the chase.
Roma.
Yeah. Good pressure, good pressure.
Just trying to beat Lewis with a few steps there.
Yeah.
Lewis having none of it. but through they come. Siata this time, Priscilla Siata. Just spotting a little space around the fringes of that breakdown are the Fijians. As Ray Luma comes through. As it comes once more with a few forwards waiting for their opportunity. Lovely little offload, in fact, to Batina Kila. And that's lovely, and she's spotting outside her. There is some space, but Neymata was well in front of that, and a poor connection there really in the end as the ball dribbles into touch.
I'm loving seeing these runners. The forwards having a field day. You know, anytime you see forwards running with the ball in one hand, it's got to be a good day. But there's some. You know, if they just tightened up their running lines, Fiji, they'd probably be through a lot more. But they're showing they're playing rugby with a smile on their face, and they're playing with flair that we know that they've got. And isn't it a joy to see?
It really is. Great standard of rugby we've been watching through the day. France winning 22-17 for those of you who may not have seen that game earlier. And now another fascinating clash between these two sides. LooseHeadz gathering the ball, knocking on the Fijians.
Yeah, so the Fijians have done really well at spoiling LooseHeadz line out. But they're doing the same tactic. They're just launching the front pod. So all you need to do is just lob that ball a little bit more to the back, and it doesn't have to hit double top, and you've got a free ball. So they probably need to just talk about that, because without line out ball, your own line out ball, it's hard to sustain and put pressure on.
Well, just seconds away from half time.
I'd like to see the number 8 pick up and go here.
An opportunity for LooseHeadz to create something special before the interval.
That's good pressure.
Fijians are up fast in that defence. That ball's fairly loose. Trying to gather it, but it goes back into the hands of the green and red shirts, and moving around the outside is Sokurvati. And another score before half-time. They've been ruthless in this first half.
There's no better team on turnover ball than the Fijians. They're just their individual skill, the evasive skill, the footwork, the space, the little bit of power to evade the loose tackle. You know, and you're set up completely committed to attack. It's a difficult game to play, which means that any team that's going to do well against them has to treasure the ball, and you work really hard. You can't do anything on your own. You've got to do it with a mate. So, you know, there's a bit of protection, and you know, that's how you will put pressure on them and sustain pressure. They're beatable if you do that, but if you don't do that, then turnover ball like that is just a killer.
As we await the conversion, Fijians in a huddle, just discussing what they might do in the next half of play. The interval imminent. And the wind just picking up a little bit in Maidenhead. As Kavuru shapes up, takes the kick, and ends up a bit short.
Yeah, we definitely left the sunshine in Isha, didn't we?
Beautiful hot sunny day of play yesterday. And not long to go here before half-time. But it's been absolutely fantastic, and the Fijians, John, just saying, we've seen what all of you other teams have done so far, but watch out.
Yeah, no, I think there's, after the last IDRC, there's no one who underestimates them, and they're laying down their marker, and it's very impressive.
Naimata again with the ball. She's been very busy in this half, and look at that power, the handoffs on this close wing. And LooseHeadz doing their very best to stop the tide. But Kavuru again with that ball, and nice footwork there from the prop.
Yeah, they can play.
Low centre of gravity as well. It's very difficult around the fringes to take down, and moving forward as well, spotting the space are the backs. Riwai has been so brilliant at fly half today, getting the ball through. Siata taking it on, and
good tackle.
Could there be another try in this half? Once again, the lock. Priscilla Siata getting her team very close. And just inches away now, the Fijians. And another score. Well, a dream end to the first half. Pressure applied once more.
And there's a lesson in basic rugby. Go forward. It's just speed the ball. It's not a contact game, it's an evasion game. And every single carrier there move the defender, hit a weak shoulder or just hit a gap. All started by the right-hand winger who just took a great ball and beat the person in front of her. Their mindset to beat the defender in front of her and not run through gaps at the side is everything. And if you add a bit of flair and a bit of power to that, it's a hard game to stop. But you know, that's just really simple rugby done exceptionally well.
They've laid down a marker so far in this match. Their teams will be wary of their threat even more so now.
Yeah, especially on a day like this with a dry, fast pitch. You know, they're a devastating team.
Conversion successful as the ref blows his whistle, points to the dressing rooms. The teams walk off at half-time. And a quick summary from you, John Wilding, of what we've seen so far. Very impressive from the Fijians, and not really offering the Looseheads much opportunity at all. They've been ruthless. Yeah,
if you just look at the score, you would think that it's it's almost a repeat of yesterday. But that would the Looseheads haven't given up. They've worked hard. They're actually a good team. They just come up against a team who want to show what they can do. Who are very, you can just see them going off now, very tight and committed. They've got a style and a game plan. They all know what they're doing. They've got a couple of little generals in 9 and 10 who are playing, pulling the strings and putting their pace out wide through every time. But the power of their forwards and the carry is everything.
Well, for all the try scorers today, and we've seen quite a few, the standard has been top-notch. A brilliant match preceded this one earlier between France, the defending champions, and Australia. We've got some highlights here, and for those of you who didn't get a chance to watch the match live earlier, you don't want to miss this.
She's at lightning pace, and she's going to go through and score the try. And that is a fantastic try.
The kick forward then from Bergeron, and that's collected on that far side of the field. And they're going to go in for the opening score. And it's Melanie Busquet who scored. A firefighter from Paris who has lit the fire here in this game, and it's put the French ahead by 5 points to 0.
Yeah, technically brilliant kick there from the French, and obviously the back line were on the same page, and the winger picking up that chase. Great finish. Yeah, 12 minutes in, we've seen possession from both sides, and now the first score of the game, so it'll be interesting to see who capitalises from here.
And the kick is good. An excellent kick for the French then. Great drive from the French there. But it's Australia who bring it clear. On this left-hand side, this is a great run through from the fullback, from Costello. She's going all the way. And the try goes over. That's a brilliant try for Australia to get themselves back into the game there at 5 points to 7. Switching the ball left and right. Great interception, and off go the Australians. And here goes Fuller, Brittany Fuller. Doesn't quite have the pace this time, but that was a fantastic interception there when the French are in full flow. And now, what can Australia do here? This is turning into a great game, as we expected. And going through on that left-hand side, it's a fantastic run from the number 11. Monica Siki has got her second try, and this time that was just pure class from Australia.
A great defensive read there, and she did really well when she realised that she wasn't going to beat her for pace in holding up the ball and waiting for some Australian support to come. And then, yeah, quick hands and scores in the corner.
Oh, suddenly this game has changed. Australia just making the most of the opportunities they've had there. And what brilliant work from Monifa Siki. So here come the French again. The number 8 going forward is Raipen. Ball comes across wide. And the drive for the line. And it is a try. A try's being given. And it was Lise Ariscastre who's gone over. So France right back in it, in fact back into the lead again.
They definitely should be. 65 minutes and she has not stopped. She's definitely been one of the standout players of this game.
The French are celebrating because they've won a penalty here in a really important place. Are they going to go for goal? I wonder, just put those points on the board. They are going for goal. Melissa Bergeron gets on with this penalty. Takes it. And it's hit the post and gone in. Well, drama aplenty. The French have been really good in the scrum so far. There is a pick and go. And it's another penalty to Australia, which they have taken quickly. And there she goes for the line. Sarah Roden. Is she over? She is. Well, the prediction proved correct. What a change it's made. Sarah Riordan's come on and she has scored the try that has brought Australia back into this game at 19-all.
What a game. And fantastic impact from Sarah. I think, yeah, she's definitely made her presence felt. And yeah, pleased to see her on the score sheet.
Well.
Yeah, great tactical decision for the timing of Sarah on the pitch.
And she has made the conversion. Australia back in the lead by 17 points to 15. Ball comes out. It's such a melee of players there. It's difficult to know who's got it. But at the moment, Australia holding it up, but only just.
Yeah, it's nail-biting stuff, John.
It really is. And the French are over, and I think it was Julie Del Corral who got the try. And almost under the post. Should be another 2 points, and it is. So 22-17 in favour of the French here. Oh, it's kicked forward. And she's going to kick that into touch, surely. And that is the end of the game. Well, Melissa Bergeron had the last action there in what has been a pulsating match. Fantastic game.
Yeah, how exciting. I think we've seen a really versatile skill set from both sides, and also two varying game plans, but actually the boot of the French 10 has definitely challenged Australia, particularly in that first half. But a huge spectacle of women's sport.
She's at the lightning pace, and she's going to go through and score the try. And that is a fantastic try.
I think France are always a feisty game. Like we played the French Defence Force down in Portsmouth like a few years ago, and that was a very physical game. Like we were lucky that fixture. I think we had Amy Cockayne. So obviously a big key asset, and obviously all the best to Amy and England. But yeah, like France are always feisty, and if we get to meet them, we know it's going to be a physical battle.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm excited to play Fiji. Like, I think that, like, I don't know, I just love the style that they play, and I think, like, you'll never come across a team like Fiji. And you've got trauma from past.
So much trauma. Playing against Fiji is like nothing like
well,
ever.
I take it back.
Yeah. A few people got ended that
Yeah.
day.
There's this incredible picture of me just like feet off
Actually,
the
I think I have
ground,
seen
gone
that,
flying.
yeah.
But Fiji, yeah, they're an absolutely incredible setup, and just such an incredible way of playing rugby. But yeah, that was an experience.
Freestyle rugby.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
good.
it's just rogue, isn't it? But yeah, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah,
Is that the most physical team in it?
it was for me.
A few hospital passes I gave. Yeah, no, they were physical. Like, every team's physical, but Fiji were just like up front, in your face, fast, and then even like you think you tackle them and you've got the ball, but it's all of a sudden the ball's the other side of the pitch and you're still in the tackle. Yeah, they're like really physical. Australia were really good as well out in New Zealand. Like they had some really good players, and I know some of their players are playing like the equivalent of Prem Rugby out there, which is really cool. So we know that's going to be a good competition. Ireland, you know, I've never seen them play. The Ireland Defence Force, someone different. They'll be a good team that like are up and come in, so they could have some strong players.
I think so. I think like I've played with a lot of like Irish girls like in the Prem in the past, and like they are just next level in terms of like physicality. So I think like even if it's maybe not necessarily like a team that's been together that long, I just think like they're naturally just a very physical side. So it sounds like we're just gonna have a lot of physicality, aren't we?
Yeah,
Maybe we need to be the fast team that runs around people rather than enough.
That's why we got Daisy.
Yeah.
Little Daisy.
Yeah.
She's at lightning pace, and she's going to go through and score the try. And that is a fantastic try.
I think the French referee's done well. I mean, I'd like to talk Fijian in French.
Well, back at Maidenhead Rugby Club, the Fijians in a very strong position as the players come back out for the second half. Wonderful first half from them. Plenty of enterprising tries. And 44 points to 7. They lead at this stage of the match. The second of today's 2 Pool B encounters after France, the defending champions, beat Australia 22 points to 17. And it's been a day of quick rugby, really, on this 4G slick surface. And John Wilding, we've seen quite a range as well, quite an array of different scores, and right across the board, that Fijian team who are just huddling in at the moment for some prayers before they start. Well, it's been a great show from them across the board.
Yeah, and what it really shows is that they're all rugby players and comfortable with ball in hand, no matter what numbers on their back. With their tight heads running in from 30 metres out and alike, and all being able to put the ball into space, move the defender, hit a weak shoulder or whatever. That shows what they can do, but also probably the thing that everyone knows when you play them is that they can all tackle and they'll hit you hard, and you've got to be prepared for that contact and keep hold of the ball when you play them. So I was just saying earlier in the breakdown, don't they make rugby look easy? But it's not easy what they're doing. They're super skillful, comfortable with the ball, and there's a lot of teamwork and trust that goes into their play there.
And very clear to see that Sevens pedigree coming to the fore as well. We mentioned Kavuru, the scrum half for Fijians today, just how much they're able to look up and assess what's in front of them, and seemingly have quite a bit of time in the ball.
And that's the mark of a good player, isn't it? It's how much time they seem to have. That's a lovely kick-off.
Aerial and relatively short. And it's gone forward from Shabanjo, the hooker for the Looseheads, and Fiji, much as they left things off in the first half, well, come thundering through, and another try beckons if they can keep hold of the ball. Now Mata out here, and it's a try once more for Fiji, threatening that whitewash as they did in the first half. Brilliant start.
Yeah, and that kick-off there was exactly the sort of thing I was asking for Looseheads to do, to give them a chance. It's hard to stand underneath the ball, waiting for it to come down when the opposition are thundering at you. What an exceptional, as they turnover ball, there's no better team in the tournament.
Just about to touch the half-century mark. Their lead extending ever further, Fiji.
This is sort of coach killer bit where within 30 seconds you're under the post, and everything you've said at half-time now kind of goes out the window, and it comes back to finding a reason why and finding a want, a communal want, what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, and communicate that clearly. On the other hand, though, the Fijians now, what a pressure-free environment now to bring your bench on and see what they can do.
A luxury of sorts as Kavuru chances the conversion, but just wide of the upright. And 49 points to 7, the score in Maidenhead at the very beginning of the second half in this Pool B clash. And it's all well and good trying to think of how to respond to the pressure from the Fijians, John, but it's the pace at which they need to respond as well.
Yeah, it's just show some intensity. It's probably that's the word. Everything they do is intense in the Fijians, so you've got to match that. And whatever it is now, let's get there together and put some intensity into it.
Through they come again, yeah. Fiji, and a half break really, but for Louise Hayward, and a tackle on Elenoa Dauni, who was instrumental in that first score a few moments ago, and playing advantage the referee, Sebastian Royer, moving it through the hands, and a no-look offload there, which can so often be quite dangerous, but they go back anyway after that free play.
Yeah, and knowing you've got a free play and letting the skills out again, a game you enjoy playing. But you see the quick play of the ball, the winning the contact, it's just so hard for the defence to get back on side and go again, because you've got to get in their faces.
Whether in attack or defence, so far the Fijians have been electric with their pace, and the forwards as well.
Yeah, and so I don't think we've seen many of their line-outs, so let's see what they've got here. But it should be, in theory, another great attacking platform.
You mentioned the ability to ring some of the changes and bring players on from the bench. Also an opportunity to go right through the playbook of their moves as well. They've been practicing on the training ground as they've had opportunity after opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kavuru fishing out now. Oh, and that's a lovely line from the inside centre. And brilliant there. Naimata again with the scrum cap. Looking to see who she has in support. And Kavuru changes direction. And the ball comes out to Siata. The lock.
It's good last-ditch defence by LooseHeadz.
Right up against that post. The forwards pick and drive. Have they got enough? Yeah. They sure have. Another try for the Fijians. He's been doing that plenty today, raising the arm. Sebastian Royer, the referee.
That line-out gave they had two of their forwards in the midfield. They used them as potential runners, but actually one played behind to the 10, and the 10 picked out that took the beautiful angle from the 12, just like Sarah Mitchelson back in her prime. She would have cut a line like that. It's so hard to defend because you have to honour the big threats of the runners from the forwards. And again, all that happened far side, so all the people in the line-out couldn't get there to defend. And you just pick a weak shoulder and away you go. A lot of vision from the 10 because you've got to pick the right runner.
Kavuru adds the extras. Another 2 points. And 56 points to 7. The advantage for Fiji. And my word, they've started this second half with even more intensity, if that's possible, than they did in the first. And plenty of time here for them to add.
Yeah, I think that their intensity stayed. I just think that the LooseHeadz are finding it difficult to get bring the intensity back to them. They're still in the contest. They're still fighting at the breakdown here.
This ball comes out once more, and Wakolo, influential tight head, and it's like the forwards are having a contest with each other to see who can make the most line breaks, but that ball's just nudged forward a little bit.
It's probably the first mistake from the scrum half today. But you just see that any team that's going to play Fiji, you've got to stop the narrow defence. You can't give easy yards to their forwards running on. It's easier said than done, but that gives them the go forward and puts the defence on the back foot for everyone else to then play out wide.
Well, some changes for Fiji. Yala Yala coming on. Number 16 shirt.
Yeah.
And Marama coming off after a fairly hefty shift today.
Yeah, she's done well. She's done really well there, but there's no lack of power coming off the bench. And I'll tell you, I think the replacement player there is probably the biggest player here. Let's see what they can do. Again, immediately putting pressure on the scrum. They've just got to hold it though. I think they've just got to hold their weight first.
Quick tap from Clavering.
Good.
Trying to find a bit more space. Moving back in fields. Karis Graham taking that ball up to the line. Clavering again. Out to Hayward. And Sam Page in that red scrum cap. Muscling forward. Oh, a nice little offload there. And another one to McCormick. All of a sudden, just a tiny bit more space developing. Georgia Gray, the outside centre for the LooseHeadz. Bundled down, and McCormick, and it's well taken by Zara Marson.
There's no go forward here. They're just chain passing across the pitch. And now you've asked the winger to try and take on the team. But they're holding on to the ball, which is good. There's some good carries there.
Good defence from the Fijians.
Yeah.
Earning the penalty.
You see the difference there. The LooseHeadz have 4 or 5 phases. Their first initial carries with 2 or 3 good offloads and a good strong carry and contact. But then when they got the ball back, it was all your turn, rather than Fijian, bang, bang. Oh, okay. Hitting strong lines early on and sucking in defenders and putting a dent in the defensive line. All that sideways movement is allowing the Fijians to drift and go forward, and hence the penalty.
Pressure on the LooseHeadz, holding on and forcing them to feel isolated, just moving across the pitch, as you say.
But when the 3 carries and offloads, they made 10 metres easily. So there's the template of what to do: move the ball, carry hard.
And the replacement.
Look at the
hooker, Yala Yala.
Look at the midfield set up here with the 2 backs. Here we go, the 2 forwards. That's forward play to the 10 is getting the ball now. So it's creating the width where the back 3 are on the ball.
Well, that's well tracked by the LooseHeadz. We've seen the danger of Rayoma, the fullback, and just a little meeting of different opinions here on the touchline. Hayward not taking a backward step there. But good in defence from LooseHeadz.
Yeah, it is, and that little bit of feistiness is not going to go amiss. And you kind of need that. You kind of need to show that you're no pushover, and it's good from the captain to show. But now you've got to back it up.
Sometimes you need just that little extra bit of spark.
Yeah,
get things going as well in the second half for LooseHeadz.
Absolutely, and look, they're maintaining the field position here. They're not. If they can sustain this and go further into 22, there's a good chance of scoring here.
Another line out for LooseHeadz, moving inside the opposition half. Jumper there.
That's an exceptional line out.
Taking that ball, and Sam Page trying to burst through the middle.
So Sam Page has come into this game really well in the second half.
On the other side they go. Jen Dudson, the tight head prop. And Clavering once more, and Sam Page, the receiver, favoured option for them in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, and that's credit to her, because she's making herself available for carry, which is in these games some people can go missing.
They're really finding themselves under pressure, getting the ball on the back foot really, and Lewis does relatively well just to sustain a little bit of that.
It's a good
go
kick.
Forward, and nice chase as well.
Yeah.
But the referee calls them back
play. Yeah.
for the infringement.
You say that it's good play. They just got to get there. They're seeing the space out wide and they're trying to get the ball there. But while they're trying to get the ball there, there's the defender is allowing the Fijians to slide across, and the space never actually materialises. And then you lose all momentum. What you've got to do is just go forward and pick off the runners. If you look at what the Fijians do when they get the ball, they look dead ahead of them and see the player pick the space either side of them. What the LooseHeadz are doing is seeing the space out wide and trying to run the ball to that space, and it never quite gets there.
Well, trying to gain as much ground as she can, but that ball hasn't gone out from Hayward. But it's been played back. Bit of kick tennis going on. Clavering now out to Cottrell.
Cottrell's played really well.
Cottrell with those dancing feet, moving around defenders, and opportunity for some more phases here. Shabanjo. And they've been frequently met with ferocious challenges, the LooseHeadz, when they've been in attack. But another penalty, and Hayward pointing to...
I think she's going for a scrum where the kick was made, maybe. It's hard to see from the referee's decision. I have to say the referee's done well today. The French referee must be an interesting challenge for him, but he's refereed the game really well.
It's of course one of the challenges for referees across both hemispheres, isn't it, when you see tournaments like this, World Cups, and just sometimes the difference in interpretation and difference in styles as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's the tournament law book and the interpretations, but you still under instinct have your own, and you're working with different people. So the touch judge from Tonga and the like, that's got to be great for the game, and it's a great experience for them, let alone the players. So it's a really, and these are all defence people, so it's really good for rugby and defence around the world.
A scrum for LooseHeadz. What can they do here to put pressure on that Fijian defence? Well, it's Fijians putting pressure on their attack, and Gray just being shunted back, really. Losing ground here, LooseHeadz. And that defence around the breakdown has just been very strong and deep. A lovely little chip through, and Lewis is herring after it. An opportunity here for Lewis. The ball just bounces unkindly for her. We've seen her threat across the pitch when those kicks have been put in today.
Trouble.
Fiji moving this back. Salika Viti eventually brought down. And, strong support there from her forwards and securing that at the breakdown, and through they come again, and proving very difficult to take down here.
Just don't die in contact. They do give everything to the contact in front of them.
Makoto with a nice offload.
Brilliant take.
Well, that's lovely from LooseHeadz, but penalty for Fiji.
Yeah, and there's probably in a microcosm that the difference between the Fijians and probably most of the other teams here is that the power through contact and the just unwillingness to go to ground when they're carrying the ball, but in the forward rather than sideways, and it makes all the difference. It means that you're just gathering and building momentum upon momentum. Oh, it's an interesting move. Here we go.
Quick take and
just
bounced off. Makolo bouncing the defender off her body.
Well, fair play to her. She stopped her.
Bettina Kila, the skipper. Oh, and Hayward coming through there, but advantage being played. Penalty being called by the referee. Another quick take, but the referee wants to call them back.
Yeah. It's starting to get a little bit feisty out there. There's a bit of pride going around, but I think if you look at what the LooseHeadz have done in contact, they're now fronting up and they're hitting hard when they get the opportunity. They've just got to keep the discipline now. I think the Fijians are, they're still looking for the direct approach to get the space to go wide, but they won't shy away from it. So if you're going to do it, then back it up. We're starting to change now. All the changes coming on.
Changes coming on. Varatema Adi on for Fiji. And Anna Maria Rokisa.
So I think the Fijian scrum half coming off. I think she's been exceptional today.
Lauren Gillingham for LooseHeadz coming on. Inside centre Zara Martin. And the fullback Ellie Brown coming off for LooseHeadz. As well as the scrum half Grace Clavering. He's had a lot of pressure in her direction today with that breakdown and facing up to those Fijian forwards.
Yeah, and it's a tough day for when your forwards aren't winning or your team aren't winning the collisions and going forward. The difference in the game Clavering's had compared to her opposite number is chalk and cheese, and it's all about collisions. And probably one of the things that the Fijians are, definitely winning is all the collisions, and a lot is because they're not running at people; they're running at the space and hitting weak shoulders, and that makes all the difference.
So Lauren Gillingham alongside her opposite number Rokisa, both just fresh onto the pitch. That's Rokisa who takes this ball forward from the side of that scrum, and good numbers here. Fiji. The fullback once again, a beautiful try. And Rayoma, in scintillating form today in Maidenhead, takes another.
I think the Fijian scrum halves have got a competition on here. That was an outstanding break by the replacement scrum half. Not only did she make the break, she squared up and drew in defenders and put a lovely pass away. It's worth saying now that the Fijians seem to be getting dominant in the scrum, and you can do that off a dominant scrum.
And more changes as well. Elisa Pacey Suraru and Lavenia Tinai are coming on for Fiji. And some fresh legs coming onto the pitch as they lead 61 points to 7 over the LooseHeadz. And Bettina Kila coming off. Who's led her side very well so far today.
Yeah, it's be interesting to see what comes now with the changes that make, because sometimes we saw that a little bit with UCAF yesterday, that it can get a little bit scruffy and a little bit messy around the cohesion side of the games. But what that does with the Fijians here, and also for the LooseHeadz, the people who've watched what's going on and want to have their say this day. Sorry, but yeah, this will be an interesting period now. What are the Fijian bench like?
Luciana Taragusi coming on, number 22. energy can these fresh legs on both sides inject into this match with just over 20 minutes to go. My word, Pool B has been treating us so well today. Brilliant rugby being enjoyed across these two matches. And more brilliant rugby to come as we're seeing the Fijians run the ball across their own try line. And very nice handling. Ball, commentators curse as that ball trundles into touch.
Yeah, like you don't really see teams running it back from their own dead ball area. But that's why you have the Fijians don't do what you expect. So you've got to be prepared for that, and you've got to be on it all the time. That was a hell of a hit from the LooseHeadz player on the player making the pass. You know, there's the fight still there. It's good to see.
Well, they talk about earning the right to play certain types of rugby, don't they? And
yeah,
they've certainly today earned the right to experiment with a few different styles. And such a huge cushion they have, of course.
The penalty came in. Yeah, I think that they're unlucky there, LooseHeadz. I think that's one of the things I would do against the Fijians is, and the French team that beat them in the semi-final last time was the line out drives and make the game a little bit tighter and make them suck their defenders in.
Hannah Thornhill there trying to see what she can do on the right-hand side for LooseHeadz. Coming into that breakdown area, Sam Page once more. Well, she's been a real threat.
Absolutely.
On the gain line, she's really been challenging those Fijian defenders, much in a style that some of them have been doing to LooseHeadz. And Shabanjo recycling that ball, coming out. Lauren Gillingham getting that ball out. Karis Graham trying to push through. LooseHead prop. Coming out Keita Rowlands. And Shabanjo driven right back.
I think this could be a card.
Hit very, very hard indeed. The referee just calling time, and that was a huge hit by Elena Dauni.
I think
Danielle Shabanjo.
Just to is it Claver in the 9? Is just she's brought some pace on the ball onto the game, so the LooseHeadz are now getting the ball away from contact quite well. I just say again, you know, Sam Page, you know, she's been on from the start, and you know, she's coming to the fore, and that's her promoting herself to take the ball on. You know, and you've got to admire that. And she's making, you know, people miss. She's making yards. She's making carries and looking after the ball. You know, one or two people get behind her and repeat that, and we're into a, you know, things can change very quickly.
Well, something that the LooseHeadz have turned to in this second half, perhaps was missing quite a bit in the first, just in terms of making those yards that you mentioned and making the most of those opportunities when you're in attack. The ball has been going from side to side quite a bit. The Fijians have been putting that pressure on from their defence, and Sarah Howlett coming on the pitch as well.
Yeah, it's good to see her get up again. I think that, you know, the Shabanga, the hooker, has played, you know, has shown a never-ending fight, and has always been the one volunteering to take the ball up, sometimes into the teeth of the opposition. And again, you've got to admire that, because she never gives up. She's working hard in the scrum. Her line-out has been good. She's done some good stuff today, but you know, it's been a tough day in the collisions against people, you know, who are hitting hard non-stop.
Setting for another scrum, and a decent position for LooseHeadz. And Wakolo, tight head prop for Fiji, who's had a fantastic match, comes off the field. Ball from Gillingham to Hayward, who employs that kick across the pitch again, and Makeda Lewis very quick onto it and coming through, and just missing that. That was a great opportunity for LooseHeadz, and herring back in defence there, the Fijians.
Yeah, when the ball's not bouncing for you, it's not bouncing. That's twice it's bounced away from Makeda there. You know, great tactic. You know where the threat is. You have to say it's well defended as well.
Makeda Lewis, who's certainly caused the Fijians a few problems, plenty to think about. And of course, the teams watching on, the French, Australians, teams in Pool A as well, UCAF, Ireland, Tonga, and the Zambians to come as well. They'll be realising just how special a unit this Fijian side is.
Yeah, the Fijian tight head has just come off. Like you see, the last scrum was more stable for the LooseHeadz. I think the Fijian tight heads had a great game both in the scrum and in the loose. So now he's just got to. Yeah, you now got to try and keep that pressure on as a LooseHead and work from the base of scrum. However, they've just got turned over there.
Penalty for Fiji.
Yeah.
Chance for them to clear their lines.
Don't be surprised if they run this.
61 points to 7 up. You'd imagine that would be a very prominent option, but it looks as if they are going to try and...
Common sense has prevailed.
Boot this down, but it's skewed off the outside of the boot and into the hands of Makeda Lewis, who has another opportunity to show what she can do.
Look at the pace.
In possession and fantastic pace. Well tracked there by Siteri Makoto. Oh, and a wonderful interception, and that's absolutely fantastic, but the referee blowing his whistle and calling them back.
Yeah. Watch Eloise here. Yeah,
Eloise taking that quickly.
Once a scrum half, always a scrum half. She's played a fast game. She's exceptional at that. And again,
ball just going forward.
Yeah, just unlucky. But again, you've got to try this. You've got to try injecting some pace and pressure and doing something different against the Fijians, and see what works. Good on her.
We've seen the effect of some of those crossfield kicks, of course, towards Makeda Lewis, and one of which scored by her, a try in the first half, and turning those oppositions round.
Seen some good ones today. If you think of the French first try, it was a beautiful crossfield kick. It's a skill that the women game are really exploiting throughout, and it's becoming a really good tactic in service rugby.
Great to have your company with us today, and I'm sure you're loving what you're seeing here. We've got another beautiful run by Riwai, and the 15 again. Well, that's just gas on the outside, pure pace from Rayoma, and we've seen it several times today. That's absolutely beautiful.
That break by the 10 is just class, and the classy thing about that is that she did everything at pace with the ball in two hands, and it means that your defence don't know whether you're going to run or pass. And she had options either side, but just ran through the gap with the ball in two hands, and then had the wherewithal to find the pace on the outside and put a pass away. That's class rugby. That's hard to coach.
1 minute you look up and she's seeing defenders in front of you, and the next she's just carving up the space, and she's halfway up the field. I mean, that's just beautiful stuff from Riwai, and you can't let Rayoma into any sort of a space.
You said it earlier. It just looks like she's playing slow motion. Everything just looks so easy, and that's a class player that does that. As I say, this is a good team. The LooseHeadz, they will give a lot of people a good game. And they're not shy of putting tackles in or closing space down, but it is class play.
Fiji have seized on every opportunity that they've had really today. They've made it count on the scoreboard. An unsuccessful conversion attempt, but nevertheless 66 points to 7 they lead with just under 15 minutes left to go in this Pool B clash. Well, McCormick, who was looking as if she was coming off, has just come back onto the pitch for the LooseHeadz.
The magic sponge has done its job.
Good old magic sponge. All these advances in science and medicine, but the magic sponge seems to have done the business over the years. Short restart there, but Fiji have the ball. Moving it out now, and once again causing problems, Eleno at Dauni. And handoffs have been utilised quite effectively by Fiji today, and once again Nemati on the outside with those handoffs, trying to utilise her pace. And the replacement, Taragusi. Look at that from Taragusi. That's absolutely beautiful there in the middle of the field. And lovely offloading has also been a trademark of how Fiji have played today. And bundling forward, another score. This time, Elisa Pesi Soraru, replacement front row. And they're all getting into the act, John.
Yeah, when you get momentum on, it's hard to stop it. It looks so easy. Just give it to some big people, run through some gaps, suck in all defenders, pass it out wide to pace, whatever. But it's not easy, because if it was easy, everyone would do it. You just look at their power through contact. They're hitting weak shoulders. I've said it time and time again. They're not running at people, but they're running straight. And by running straight, you're really condensing the defence and also going forward, which means, once you're the third or fourth phase, you just the pace of the backs that were hitting the ball in front of us here, you could just see that, it was unstoppable. Is that the whole front row scored today? Is it? That's not bad. There's a few props who've gone in. That's good to see.
Yes, that leaderboard in the changing room will be updated by some poor soul at the moment. But 73 points to 7 now, with that conversion going through the sticks.
Yeah, and it's good to see that a fast break by the outside backs is supported in the midfield by your bigger forwards, and they're there to do a good job. And again, that's hard to do. That shows will and want and a good cohesive team plan.
It hasn't been a case, in terms of the physicality of the Fijians, it hasn't been a case of merely wanting to bully the opposition up front. They've actually been trying to use that to the effect of getting quick ball and getting it into the gaps, getting it out wide, as we see once more. And the fullback who we've spoken so much of, Rayoma, well, she's showing off now. Look at that fantastic turn of pace once again. And she's made that part of the pitch her own. That's brilliant stuff once again.
And again, you're right, they're not trying to bully people, but arguably, there's one or two exceptions, but they're the only team where 1 to 15 on the pitch are hitting the contact area at pace with a ball carry, and it's a different kind of pace and intensity and energy, and they believe they're just going to burst through, and they burst through the first tackle nearly all the time, and to stop them, you've got to make that first tackle stick. You've got to stick some shoulders on them. A lot of that's got to be a lot lower, so there's a lot of work on hitting them low, hitting them ones and twos and stopping them there, because if you can stop it there and make them put people in and do that, then you've got a chance. But it takes a well-drilled defence of committed people who will do that, because any inch of space and they'll take it.
Well, the guy who's been coming on with the kicking tee for Fiji, I'd love to see his data on his Fitbit. He's been earning his corn today, that's for sure. Back out he comes, and yet another attempt for Riwai.
I think she saw what Daisy Fahy did for the UCAF yesterday, and she's in the competition with her, I think.
78 points to 7. And about 10 minutes to go here in Maidenhead, which has hosted a brilliant day of rugby in this IDRC 2025. It's been living up to the billing. All the hype, all the chat beforehand, before the ball was kicked or passed in the tournament. Well, it's certainly been living up to that so far. It's been absolutely wonderful to watch. And the try scorer just a few moments ago, taking the ball, Sararu. And Taruhusi will be disappointed. She was off there, I think. Not long onto the pitch.
But that's the sort of thing, they're so willing to stay strong, and if you don't get them to ground or stay strong in the contact and look to offload, that's so hard to defend if it's another powerful runner. So the teams in the group, like I know the French will definitely look to try and get some stick some shoulders in on the first ball carrier, and put them to ground and stop the offload, stop the momentum at source. I think the scrums and lineouts become key areas. Catching the restarts become key areas to try and stop their momentum right at source, and then when you get the ball yourself, you've got to treasure it. But it's over 80 minutes. That's hard to do.
Being shoved right back, LooseHeadz, but they get the penalty. Lauren Gillingham, who's been alert from the moment she came on the pitch as a replacement, hands the ball to Hayward, who points to the corner. And seldom seen in recent times, but another opportunity for LooseHeadz to get close to that try line.
Yeah, again, like they've had probably the best line out, as in all over line out out the two teams, and varied what they've done with it. The Fijians have got a short line out and look to go off the top every time. If I was a LooseHeadz here, I would try and get the ball to the middle and do a catch and drive, and watch them defend and driving more.
does go.
Okay, begin to drive in. Good, make them defend. See if you'll suck in some defenders, and keep walking.
Gillingham just keeping a close eye on this as the forwards take it further with that rolling maul, and gets it out to Hayward. It's a lovely looping pass. It's very dangerous though with defenders so close, and the referee comes back.
You see the success from that. That's a penalty again. So again, go and do it again. You got some go forward there. I don't think. I think if they could just get a bit lower in that setup of the maul, they'd probably get a lot more success here. They could go over, but they just kind of rode high.
And as we've seen there, other teams will be watching on with interest as to just how to turn the Fijians around and gain some of these advantages. But an opportunity for Looseheads. Sort of a line out will it be this time? Ball goes in towards the middle and it's knocked forward, unfortunately,
Danger.
for the Looseheads. And Fijians look to spread it. Of course they would.
That's good defence. 23, that's
and
good
earning
defence.
the penalty, that's brilliant from the Looseheads.
Yeah, Sarah Howlett there. That's great hands-on ball there. Not only a good tackle, but to get hands-on ball before the Fijians got there, it's good defence.
And good leadership once again from Hayward. She's been right in the thick of it, hasn't she? Right up in their faces.
Well, you know that, and knowing anyone knows her, Louise, she'll never give up the fight. She's never dead until she's dead. So she'll always keep the fight going and believe in herself, and you've got to love that as a player.
Quick tap comes, and Sam
That's
Page
another
makes her
penalty.
presence felt there at the breakdown. And Gillingham pushing that through. And quick up in defence into Keita Rowlands.
You're starting to see a bit of pressure, and the Fijians will give penalties away. If you keep the pressure, territory, and possession, they will give penalties away. And you see, there's going to be a card, I think,
Ref
here.
reaching for his pocket.
Yeah, so team penalties, and this is their Achilles heel, is that if you keep them under pressure, they can do this. You've just got to be good enough to keep the pressure on.
Taken quickly once again by Looseheads. Ellie Smales coming forward with that. Sam Page.
She deserves a try.
She's been brilliant today. And Amy Howard, well, she's not far at all, trying to stretch. Hayward pushing that wide. What space can they find to Lewis? Trying to use every bit of her power to get round those challenging defenders. Gillingham. And Page once more. The Fijians trying to rip that, which they have done. And coming out through the hands again, looking to run this. The left boot of Reoma. And bouncing backwards dangerously for Looseheads, but they have it through Hannah Thornhill. And Hannah Thornhill, who's got a bit of pace of her own, and look at that from Hannah Thornhill. Absolutely brilliant stuff there. Waltzing round those defenders, dotting the ball down, and that's absolutely beautiful from Thornhill.
Yeah, you got to praise that. What a great turn to chase back. All starts from the want to get back on the chase and the kick. And then just back yourself. And again, when you back yourself, things can happen. Great try. We wax lyrical, rightly so, about a lot of the Fijian scores, but that's as good as any of them.
Coaching staff will be delighted with that for the Looseheads.
And again, that's off the back of a lot of territory pressure. In the last 5 minutes, that's been dominated by Looseheads. They've created pressure. They've forced penalties from the Fijians. The Fijians have been starved of possession, and the bit of possession they got, they put a loose kick in, and a bigger want from the Looseheads to get back to the ball was everything.
Hayward looking to drop kick that conversion attempt, but unsuccessfully. Well, they're up to 12 points now. 80 points to 12 they trail the Fijians. 77 minutes gone as we approach, I should say, the final moments of this match. And can they end on a high, Looseheads, after facing so much pressure?
We just got an injury down on the sideline there. Yeah, if I was the Fijian coach, you'd be disappointed with the last 5-10 minutes. If you're looking forward and deeper into the competition, where you might have had sterner tests or whatever, but you can't they're so dangerous when, you know, at any opportunity, give half a chance, they'll take a long way. But you know, the good teams won't give you many of those chances, and you've got to survive without those chances. And what can you do? Can you defend driving mauls? Can you scrummage properly? Can you not give penalties away? That's 2 sin bins. So you're playing without. Those are the things that can add up to beat you in the end if you let them. So that's what, you know, Fijian coaches will be looking at, and early on in the tournament they've got a good sight of what their team can do, just as it will be for the opposition teams. So, you know, it sets up for many different contrasting styles to take on each other.
Well, very difficult to pinpoint one particular Fijian player today who's played brilliantly, because from numbers 1 to 23 they've been on it.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Amy Howard is on it right now, trying to get around some of those defenders in midfield. Through the hands it comes. Bryson. The referee just having a little word with the Fijians there. Yeah, a couple of minutes left. What time is there for another act from the Looseheads in this match?
Yeah, look, you know, the Looseheads bench has made a bigger difference than the Fijian bench, and yeah, credit to them. They've come in and brought some energy and some tempo and some intensity, you know, and it's lifted their play. I think if they can build off the back of a line out again, try maybe get a drive on it again, and take the line speed away from the Fijians, they can play. We'll see what they do here, but you know, you have to credit people like Sam Page and the 7 Cottrell, who've stayed in the fight the whole game and taken it to them, and now others are coming with them.
And Rowlands with the ball here. Midway through that line out, and Gillingham on to Cottrell. Cottrell, who's made quite a bit of ground for her side today.
She's played well.
Finding those half breaks. Rowlands rumbling forward. As it comes to Bryson. And Smales. And a penalty earned as well.
Yeah, as I say, that's another penalty against Fiji. So you again, they're in danger of another card here for persistent penalising.
Another card and another opportunity for Looseheads to dent the Fijian lead a little bit. Try and reduce the deficit if they can. And Hayward puts it out once more.
Yeah, so you've got to credit Looseheads for coming back in this, and you know, as I say, they've taken the momentum, and their bench has added some energy and some intensity. And let's see if they can take it on and score, and you know, test the defence one more time.
So another line-out presents itself to the Looseheads in a similar position to the last 5 minutes or so. But Fiji have got the ball back. And off the boot, seeing space beyond Lewis there. Lewis having to track back fairly quickly, but does well. And looking up, where does she go? Well, she turns and moves left, and that's lovely from Makeda Lewis. Makeda Lewis has been a shining light today for Looseheads.
What pace.
Pulling it out, Spanyo and Rowlands, but that pass just evades her there. And the referee calls time.
And right there, last little play is the difference between the two sides. Great break by Lewis there, but just the ability of the forwards to stick those passes and make the break to then link up on the outside. You have to say that Fiji were just better at that right from the start. For me, the fly half was outstanding. Controlled the game well and just made the game look so easy.
Well, fantastic performance from the Fijians. It's a statement win, 80 points to 12 over the Vodafone LooseHeadz. A side that has really been up against it today. Some lovely scores of their own, not least Makeda Lewis's crossfield catch, and turn and finish. And as the other teams who've been here to watch today, the French and the Australians who played their part on a wonderful day of rugby, leave, well, there's plenty to ponder for whoever comes up against the Fijians in this competition.
Absolutely. There's some the three teams that played today, the Australians, the French and the Fijians. They've given a lot of everyone else a lot to think about, but I would put a lot of money or your pension on the fact that the team that pretty much they're all going to talk about at the end is the Fijians, because it's a brand of rugby that is great to watch, hard to defend against, and you're probably different to anyone else in the tournament.
Something that's prevalent through this competition and has been great to see is the spirit in which it's been played. The players there, hugs and high fives, not just for their teammates but also the opposition, and they realise what they've done in terms of putting on a show today as well at Maidenhead. Maidenhead's played its part, as did Esher yesterday, in fantastic facilities and a great pitch for the rugby style that we've seen. We're 4 games into this tournament, and we bring you more Pool A action on Thursday. Basingstoke RFC for Zambia v Tonga. The Zambians arriving, coming into the tournament and playing the Tongans, who are wanting to respond after that 105-0 defeat to UCAF yesterday. That's 12:50 UK time. Coverage starts BFBS Forces News YouTube channel, and it'll be followed by another huge match, UK Armed Forces against Ireland, from 3:45 UK time. We've a chance to catch our breath, John, but more brilliant rugby awaits. Yeah,
I'm excited to see the Zambians come in and see what they bring, the first African team to play in an IDRC. But again, you as an ex-UCAF coach, can't wait to see what they do against what looked a good Irish team yesterday, who've got some threats out wide. What they do and how they go there. Look, it's exciting, isn't it? Exciting tournament, and I think that the rugby that's been played today means that the levels will go up and up and up, and if they go up from today, it's going to be a great tournament.
It's going to be fantastic, and if you can't bear to wait another few days for the next of our live matches in this tournament, of course you can check out forcesnews.com, our website, for plenty of behind-the-scenes action, as well as our social media channels. Just search for BFBS Forces News. It's been an absolute pleasure being with you again today, John, and it's been an absolute pleasure all of you joining us. Great to have you along, and we'll see you very soon.
Thank you very much.
She's at lightning pace, and she's going to go and score the try. And that is a fantastic try. Scores the try, the 3rd try for UCAF.
This is the pinnacle of military sport.
Lightning pace, and she's going to go and score the try. And that is a fantastic try.
We can't make the show what Service Rugby is about. British rugby.
Goes wide, it's going to be a try, surely.
We really want to just be able to create a spectacle to get as many women and girls involved in rugby as we can.
Momentum going in their way.
Probably the biggest honour you can get in service rugby, so it is very special.